Now that we have thought about what missions we want to complete and link them to our purpose, we are ready to think about some cornerstone habits that we want to implement into our life. Our habits will be checked off at the end of each day in our daily tracker and will form a key part of our weekly review as we collect data on our habit completion rates. For now though, all we have to do is think of the habit that we wish to implement into our daily routines. Things like reading, taking supplements, meditation, and ice baths are great examples. When you input a habit into the database, try to think of the reason why you want to implement the habit. The more reasons you can think of for implementing the habit, the more likely you are going to be disciplined enough to incorporate the habit into your day. You will also need to link the habit to one or more of your personal standards and principles. Again, this is reinforcing your habits as they relate to your purpose in life. The more connections you can make in the system between various databases, the clearer the picture in your mind as to why you are completing various habits and projects. Let's imagine that we want to start the habit of regular guitar practice. This time we'll use a slightly different method of inputting this into the database. Start by writing guitar practice under the database. Select the block handle and drag it into the bottom row. Add a description of why the habit should be implemented. Next, select one or more personal standards and principles that link to the habit. In this example, elite mind and mindset could be an option, but it would make sense to go back to personal standards and principles database and input a new entry that says something like elite musical ability. Finally, select the status of the habit as either active or not active in the further column on the right. If you want this view of the database to only display active habits, then simply click on the filter, status, and select active from the dropdown. You should now have an idea of how to complete your personal habit database. Remember that if you think of a habit that cannot be linked to any personal standards and principles, go back to your personal standards and principles database and think of a new entry that relates to the habit in question. Your habits will determine the majority of your success in life. You may have noticed that the first entry in the database is to plan the next day's tasks. In using this Notion system, planning the following days is perhaps one of the most important habits that you can acquire. This ensures that you become increasingly familiar and skillful in using the system and increases the chance that you make time for your weekly review. All of this ensures that a keen eye is kept on creating and actioning tasks that will bring projects to completion and edge you closer towards your massively transformative purpose, whilst adjusting for challenges along the way. You're also more likely to complete your daily habit tracking and gain perspective on your projects by opening the action zone for a few minutes before bed, inputting tomorrow's tasks and reminding yourself of your priorities. We will get into more detail on this in future lessons, but it's strongly recommended that you leave plan next day's tasks in the habit database for now. That wraps up the purpose section of this course. You are now ready to set up your first projects in this Notion template. Congratulations on all your progress so far. If you've been completing the task, you should already have a much better idea of where you want to focus your efforts in the coming weeks, months, and years ahead. Good job, and I will see you in the next video.